My oh my has it been a week for Call of Duty. From the Season 2 roadmap being announced, to layoffs from Microsoft, to the big topic of discussion every time you bring up Call of Duty, skill-based matchmaking. This all happened in 1 week. It's been a lot, but first, I'm Kid Covert. You're the viewer. You already knew that, so let's now get right into it. Alright, so first things first, I'm going to talk about Season 2. The Season 2 roadmap was probably one of the best season roadmaps I've ever seen coming from a Call of Duty game. Now, the main highlights that I could really point out is we're getting a new vest in the game, we're getting 3 brand new maps for multiplayer, and we're also getting some aftermarket parts. I love that they're really putting their best foot forward for multiplayer this year, which is what a lot of fans were asking for the longest time. Now, I won't lie to you, previously with the season system, I start to lose interest when the new seasons come out, because I see that multiplayer gets left in the dust and it makes me not really want to play the game because the publisher isn't taking that seriously. I am less inclined to give it my time, my care, my attention, all that good stuff that I put into Call of Duty. I feel more reserved to take that away. Now, how these maps play, that's a different story, but at the very least, I can say that I'm fully glad and fully happy that Modern Warfare 3 Season 2, the roadmap looks really good for multiplayer fans. I'm sure it's going to be good for Warzone fans. Zombies is kind of getting a little I feel. And honestly, the Zombies community in Modern Warfare 3 is pretty prominent, probably one of the most prominent we've seen since I feel even Jetpack days, Black Ops 3, Infinite Warfare. I feel like those had pretty strong Zombies community. It fell off in the later years and I feel like this one was pretty strong as well. Hopefully maybe there's some things that they can add, but the Walking Dead crossover, I love The Walking Dead so much. This is like a love child and I'm fanboying so hard right now. The trailer that they let out with the Walking Dead intro was just phenomenal. It made me just so excited, to say the very least. So I can't wait to get my hands on it, get the Rick skin, get the Michonne skin, all that good stuff. I am so excited for all of that. Call of Duty is really doing its best with Modern Warfare 3 so far, and I could really appreciate that. And to say the least, it makes me super happy. Next up on the list, now this one kind of gets me upset because with the whole Microsoft merger of Activision, I was hoping that Microsoft would bring Call of Duty leaps and bounds ahead of what it's already been. Now, it's only been a few months, and for something so negative to happen so quick really is disheartening. Microsoft has laid off 1,900 Activision employees. That's across many different studios, even their esports team right after a major event. Now, the community as a whole are not too happy about that. It sucks to hear about that, having devs let go for a game that you really care about, and just hearing layoffs in general. It sucks. It sucks for everyone involved. All these devs are super talented, and I just hope the best for them going forward. It is concerning as a fan also to see where Call of Duty is going under the umbrella of Microsoft. Is Call of Duty not going to be as big of a priority as maybe Halo is to Microsoft, because Halo is Microsoft's baby? We'll see. I'm hoping for the best. I'm hoping that Xbox and Microsoft are going to make the right decisions going forward. It sucks to see this a lot. I can't really express how bad it looks to the community. All I can say is I wish the best for Call of Duty going forward, for the devs that are still part of the team, as well as the devs that were let go. But that is some pretty big news that I wanted to touch on, just because I feel like it does kind of foreshadow at least some of the direction that Microsoft is going. Now, does that sell everything? No, I still like to remain hopeful because I love Call of Duty. Xbox has been doing a lot of good things when it comes to the gaming space. Game Pass being one of the main driving forces of why Xbox is probably one of the more consumer-friendly brands out there. So it's just something that we have to keep our eye on as we go forward. Obviously, as Call of Duty fans, if you're a fan of my channel, which I'm thankful for, then I'm sure you follow a lot of other Call of Duty channels that really dive deeper into this, and I'm sure share the same thoughts as I do when it comes to being a little wary as the direction of Call of Duty going forward. Now, one last thing I'm going to touch on before we get into the main juicy part of this video. NX1, Call of Duty Future Warfare, I believe that's what they said it was codenamed. The game we should have got instead of Ghost. Gameplay has leaked. Now, it looks like a Call of Duty game. It looks fun. It looks like old school Call of Duty. It should have came out during old school Call of Duty. Would it have been better than Ghost? Who knows? We don't know. The game that we could have gotten, should have gotten, would have gotten. Who knows? Would I still love to see this game come out? Yes, mainly because I'm not feeling COD the way that I used to feel COD. It still has a special place in my heart, which is a lot of the reason why my channel exists. But really seeing like old Call of Duty gameplay in the sense that Call of Duty used to run on a pretty similar engine year after year as it does now. Seeing old school Call of Duty brings back memories. It feels like getting excited for a new game game that's coming out again. Honestly, it was kind of weird watching it, but there's no telling the possibilities that could have came with this game, with it being in the future, before future was really the thing for Call of Duty. It looked like boots on the ground gameplay, so who knows what that game could have been. It probably could have been the best COD ever. It could have been the worst COD ever. Would I have still wanted it? Yes. And that's not to say that I didn't like Ghost, because I really did enjoy Ghost, and I know that's a pretty unpopular opinion for Call of Duty, but bro, Ghost was not that bad. Like, I'm telling you, Ghost was not that bad. And I know I'm gonna get flamed in the comment section for that one, but I can make a whole video on that if you want me to. Now we're getting deep into what I want to talk about, what the community is talking about. The biggest news in Call of Duty of recent memory: Activision Call of Duty finally gave us the talk. And what do I mean by the talk? Because they fucked us with it. Now, to this blog post, while I do appreciate Call of Duty giving some transparency with it, this is how I feel about what they said.
This is a load of barnacles.
Alright, to give a quick overview of what they're saying, falls into matchmaking. Every time you search for a match, every time you hop on, XYZ, whatever you want to say, ping is king. That's what they always say. Connection comes first. It's the most critical weighted factor. Now, personally, I don't know how much I believe that. Yes, we do get decent ping, but if I'm living in a very populated area with, I'm sure, many people logging into Call of Duty every day at all hours, I find it very hard to believe of why I should get games where my ping is at 7800 milliseconds. In a very fast-paced game like Call of Duty, it matters. It varies so much. Other thing that makes me not believe it is it'll vary so much so fast within the same time period of me playing the same play session, whatever you want to call it. It varies so much that I feel like it's not true. Yes, do they try to find you within the same general ping time frame and mitigate as much packet loss as they can? I do believe that, but when it starts to calculate all these other factors, it really hurts your matchmaking experience, and it does not feel like ping is king. It feels like that's the first layer, first filter that it gets pushed through, but not the most important. I feel like for it to be the most important, there would be a set level that it never passes through, a threshold that it never passes through, and loosen the restriction on these other aspects rather than ping to also filter in these other aspects. Then there's time to match. Now, I do believe this one is fairly true. Do I think it hurts the matchmaking experience? A little bit, because you'll find a lot of time, especially with these disbanding lobbies, that you'll be put into games that are already in progress, and that's because your time to match is so low because it already found a game just for you if you're solo queued. So hop right into it. Theoretically, it's a good idea, but when it starts to impact things like that, I don't feel like that's in the player's best interest there. Playing in a game where you're halfway through it, everybody's already positioned, especially in the way that Call of Duty is played now. Positioning is almost everything. It's hard, and it doesn't make it a good time. Playlist diversity, I think that was pretty self-explanatory. The number of playlists available, recent maps and modes. Considering maps you have recently played on, as well as your mode preferences, editable in quick play settings. Yes, we have our quick play filters. That's kind of like us choosing our own matchmaking there, so I can't be too upset about that. Here is the big one: skill and performance. This is used to give our players, a global community with a wide skill range, the opportunity to have an impact in every match. Now, if you know my videos, then you know my take on skill-based matchmaking. Do I feel like it's somewhat necessary? Yes. Can it be loosened more? Yes. Every game does not have to be sweating to just get a 1 KD. That's what ranked is for. Call of Duty used to be a game that I could just turn my brain off, react, and play and have a good time. If I get bombarded and shit on, that's completely fine with me. If I'm really into it and I'm cooking, like, that should also be fine. And I understand there should be a skill bracket for lower players that can't perform as well and they don't want to lose that group of players. That makes sense to me. One thing that always made Call of Duty special to me was that each game felt different. Each game had variety to it, and I feel like it loses that with skill-based matchmaking. With everyone ending up being around a 1 KD because everything is super balanced, it makes the game more stressful when it shouldn't be. Like, if I really wanted to focus up and get into the game, then I should be able to play ranked in that way. Am I a hardcore Call of Duty fan? Yes, but do I want to play it in that sense all the time? No, I'm not a pro player. I'm just someone that really loves the franchise, and I want to have that experience. I know I'm not the only one that feels that way. I could adapt, I could get better, but what's the sense of playing every game that you have to try super hard for when you don't want to, when you just want to enjoy the game? That's my little rant on that. I understand both sides of the argument. That's just my opinion. I digress. I just want to give my thoughts and opinion on the news from Call of Duty that we had all last week. It's been a really eventful week when it comes to Call of Duty, so I'm glad that I waited till the end of the week to really make this video and touch on everything. If you guys did enjoy the video, please like, share, subscribe, and hope to see you guys in my next video.